There are two ways of traveling. The first one is to put your destination on Google Maps and then follow the instructions given. Go to your left and continue for the next 200 meters. Then take the next right. In this way, by following the guideline given to you, you will eventually reach your destination. But is it the best way to travel? Before there was Google Maps, whenever we were supposed to go somewhere new, we would be told about the landmark to look for. It would be quite tall and conspicuous, like if you travel in Paris, it would be the Eiffel Tower. Then someone will tell us, take any turn or street that will take you closer to that landmark that you can see. The North Star itself is famous because it tells us where to go without forcing us to follow each and every step. The reason I'm bringing this analogy is that sadly, accounting and finance is being taught since ages, like traveling using Google Maps gets the job done. But where's the fun in that? There is no sense of exploration, and worse, you have to memorize each and every turn in order to get to your destination. For hundreds of years, the pedagogy of accounting hasn't changed, and it was further reinforced in the 1950s during the era of theory of accounting. So today the students are not able to enjoy the scenery of accounting and finance, but instead are made to follow the instructions strictly in order to keep the GAAP, or the generally accepted accounting principles, in place. In this section, I want to provide students of accounts and finance a new way of traveling the world of accounting and finance. I don't want them to just memorize and follow the rules like following Google Maps instructions. No, in this section, I want to provide the various landmarks that they can look for and find their own path to get to it. People are smart enough to find their ways if they are shown the Eiffel Tower or the North Star. Why did the current syllabus assume students needed to be treated like horses with blinkers placed in their eyes so that they do not see too much and just look in front of them as guided by their riders or jockeys? In this section, I want to change that position of the pedagogy of accounting itself. I want to open those blinkers, knowing that the students are not horses who will be confused by the vastness of the world of accounting and finance. As I shared to you earlier on, I am not a student of management, and I did not have to go through the torture of studying accounting. I directly treated myself with a book called MBA in 10 Days and various other finance books. Becoming a management consultant at 30 onwards, I had no option to learn about accounting basics or even finance fundamentals, and I just looked for the various landscapes or North Star. I asked myself questions like how did those financial reports that I was supposed to analyze came to be? How many types are they? What are they telling me? What are they not telling me? what's the relationship between the bills produced by the computer at the cashiers and the financial report that I'm supposed to analyze in order to help the CEO make the correct strategy. Is there a way to investigate the cases of fraud, cheating, by looking at the accounting process and the records? How does everything that I just said tie in together to advise my client on whether to invest or not? Finally, I wanted to know how the balance sheet actually balances. What I realized is that in order to have all those questions answered, you need to finish your MBA, become a chartered accountant, then a CFO, and still you will not be able to answer those questions easily. When I sat down to write this chapter on account and finance, I thought I knew, but I did not know enough to write a full comprehensive chapter. So I used AI Gemini as my collaborator. It served me as professor that I never had, or most probably doesn't exist. Through my skillful prompt engineering and questioning skills, I was able to get to the bottom of the truth. Creatively speaking, I was able to blow away all the clouds that were separating me from that vision of the landscape or Eiffel Tower of North Star. Then everything became clear. It is this vision of the North Star of accountant financing that I want to show you in this section. Take a look at the diagram below. I will talk about the diagram or the vision as a whole in this section, and in other section I will talk in details so that you have a total picture. So accounting and finance can be compared to a tree. What most students know as accounting is the trunk of the tree. You can see I have compared it to the DES or double entry system of accounting. It is that torturous process of making journal entries in various ledgers, then coming with a trial balance, then reconciling everything so that the accounting equation of asset is equal to liability plus owner's equity is always satisfied. I will not confuse you with the details at this point and will continue with the big picture exposition. And the tree is fed through the roots. As you can see, the source documents represent those roots. Without invoices, receipts, and journal entries, which can either be physical or electronic, the double entry system doesn't work. Again, I will stick to the big picture and not go into the details of the source documents. I want you to see the North Star and not be confused with left or right, or 100 meters or 200 meters. Then the input being the source documents and the system being the double entry system produces an output called the three financial statements, which is represented by the fruits of that tree. The roots by themselves are useless, so is the trunk, but without them you can't get leaves, and without those leaves you can't get the fruit. The beauty of the accounting system are those three reports. They are the profit and loss statement, the balance sheet, and the cash flow statement. It's so simple and clean. All those clunky, messy, voluminous source data and the hideous repetitive, strict rules and processes of the double interest system finally lead to those three statements. They tell everything you need to know about the health of your finances, be it the organizational level or the individual level. But again, we have to keep the eye on the big picture, so the details will come later on what each report actually tell. Up to here, it's about accounting. Now the fruits are passed to the finance department. This is where the MBAs and the CFOs come in. They take the numbers from the three financial reports, play with them using various ratios. Then they determine whether that organizationals or individuals' finances follow the three principles of finance. Obviously, if they are followed, then it's good, and if they are not followed, it's bad. The three principles are the time value of money, or TVM. The second one is the risk return trade-off, or RRT. And the third one is capital allocation, or CA. The knowledge of this and the ability to design financial strategies to maximize those principles is what make top CEO and CFO. Continuing in that diagram, you can see that the arrows from the three principles of finance lead to the financial strategy, as we have talked. However, no matter how much the three principles are abided to, the personality archetype of the owner will influence the strategy for good or for bad. It means that the person might be conservative or ambitious. It also means that the company can be competitive in nature or innovative in nature. That will determine the financial strategy as much as the three principles. This is what a great financial advisor will know. So you see that there is a box called influence of cognitive bias and external factors. Well, those financial strategies are not only influenced by the personality of the owner, but by the misconceptions or biases of the owner. Might be too attached to a particular asset that needs to be sold, or he might be too afraid to take a risk that needs to be taken, so on. Then there are the external factors like inflation, recession, and so on, that also influence the strategies besides the three principles. Finally, the strategies result into financial outcomes, as you can see at the bottom of the diagram. Throughout the strategy, the cognitive bias and the external factors will affect the outcome, even though the strategy has been chosen earlier on. Again, the outcome is evaluated based on the three principles of finance, namely value of money, risk return trade-off, and capital allocation. As you can see in the diagram, the outcome again creates new source documents that feed into the roots of the tree of accounting and finance. This way, now I've seen the big, grand picture of the unified theory of wealth creation. This is the secret I found, and this is what I'm sharing to you without keeping anything for myself. Even though I showed to you the whole system of account and finance, it's actually you become rich and happy.